Have you ever wondered how to virtual wholesale to where you're in a completely different state and you're purchasing a property that you've never seen, never will see, you'll never meet the seller, you'll never meet the buyer, and still make a paycheck? Stay tuned and I'll teach you how. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Graylan Stewart. I am an entrepreneur and virtual wholesaler and just a real estate investor overall. So my channel is mostly about wholesaling real estate and we do it 100% virtually. So we do it in the virtual sense in every aspect of the word. Now there's a bunch of nationwide virtual wholesalers out there like myself. However, we don't only just lock up contracts over the phone virtually, but we also my entire team is virtual. We all work out of our own homes nationwide. We're all in different parts of the country and even across the world. So I got a question. Somebody was asking me how that works. You know, how do you go about finding a local team? How do you pay them? You know, etc. How does it all work? So this video is going to teach you that. I'm going to tell you exactly how we do it. So like I said, we virtually wholesale. So what does that really mean? Virtual wholesaling is exactly that. What we do is we do marketing nationwide to get motivated sellers to call us or to raise their hand saying that they want a cash offer. Now cash offers aren't our only option, but that's what we're going to talk about today, because wholesaling in general is getting a contract with a seller and then we sell that contract to a buyer that wants to either flip it or hold it for a rental property. And then we are the person in between that makes the money. So we're just basically the middleman, okay? So how do we do it virtually? So first of all, the team looks no different whether you do it locally or virtually. It's completely the same, okay? So in my business, I have 2 acquisition managers, and their whole job is to take all the incoming leads that come into our system, okay? So not only are they following up with all their leads all day, every day, they're also taking in new coming leads that we do. We have multiple marketing channels to bring these leads in. We typically get 50 to 60 leads every single week. So my 2 acquisition managers typically get around 30 new leads every week. But like I said, they also follow up with existing leads constantly, okay? Also, on a side note, it's pretty rare that you're going to get a deal on the first contact. So really, 100% of the deals that we get are all from follow-up. So follow-up is super important. But so we've got my 2 acquisition managers. I've got a transaction coordinator. Now what her job is once our acquisition managers get a deal, that automatically goes into another part of our system that notifies my transaction coordinator. Now she's the one that opens title with a local title company, or we might use one of the national companies that we use. Nevertheless, she's the one that gets that open. She gives the title company all the information that she needs to give from the seller. She's in direct communication with the seller constantly, every few days, making updates. That's very important, so that leads don't fall through the cracks. Also, we have a disposition manager that is simultaneously notified when acquisitions gets a deal, because she's going to go ahead and start actively pursuing buyers to try to sell that deal. So then once she does assign the contract to a buyer, our transaction coordinator is also communicating with the buyer. So she's the one that's actually talking to the seller, talking to the title company, talking to the buyer. If there's attorneys, probate attorneys, or anything like that involved, she's talking to them as well. She's the one that coordinates all of those things to make sure we get to the closing table. So lastly, we do have our disposition manager, which I touched on. Her sole job is to sell all the contracts that acquisitions gets. Okay. So the way she does that is we have a software called Investor Lift, which I've talked about in my videos. I do have an affiliate link, full disclosure, in my description of all my videos if you wanted to check that out. It is expensive, so I don't recommend doing it unless you're at least doing a deal a month or so. If you're doing a deal a month and you're in your virtual in any way, it's 100% worth it. It makes life way easier to where you can actually blast out your deals, in that particular area. And not only that, it's got a system in there, a part of it called God mode, to where it'll actually show you all the flips that happened right around that area. So it enables you to skip trace those on the spot and call them. Because obviously, if there's a house right next to the one that they flipped already, they're going to want to do this one too. So it's super important to, I think, to get that software if you're at least doing a deal a month, So anyways, but in addition to that, obviously we email and text all the buyers that we have on our list in those particular areas. Now we have every buyer in the nation, so we're able to do that a little bit easier. So if you ever have a deal that you can't sell, send it to us and we can probably move it for you. But that's not our main strategy, but we do help people out on occasion. We'll just split the fee with you 50-50. So, but also my disposition manager will also put that on all the local Facebook groups. So for example, if you have a deal in Chicago, Illinois, what you want to do is join all the local Facebook groups for investors, okay? You just type into the search bar on Facebook, Investors Chicago, Wholesaler Chicago, Real Estate Investing Chicago, all those type of keywords to try to find local groups. Join all of them that are specific to investors in that local area, and then post your deal. But don't post it too detailed, okay? Be very general and vague. Hey, I have a deal in whatever zip code. The ARV is 200, selling it to a cash buyer for 100. Send me your email if you're interested, or drop me a DM if you're interested. Something along those lines to gain interest, and you'll instantly get tons of buyers that will reach out to you or just drop their email that you can try to send them the deal to see if they're interested. So that's how we do that. So how do we get pictures and video? Okay. Now, what we do in my business is, I have a PDF that I made, first of all. It's a PDF detailing out every single thing, every single room that we need pictures of, from whatever angles that we need, exact detail of how we need it. And also, I have a video of me explaining exactly how to do it with a cell phone, sideways, and things like that. So that tells them right there, between those two things, it tells them exactly how to do it. So what happens is my acquisition manager, once they get the deal, they'll just tell the seller, like, hey, I'm going to actually send you a link and a PDF explaining to you how we need pictures, okay? They just tell them that we need to get pictures now, because obviously that's an important part of the process. We have to get pictures, and we get a video every single time. 100% of the time we get videos. That's what really sells our deals virtually. That makes it a lot easier. We get sight unseen offers with videos. It's almost impossible to get a sight unseen offer without a detailed video. But we get two videos. We get one of the exterior and a detailed video of the interior. I mean, we literally will go in room by room, slowly, floor to ceiling, making sure we get exactly what we need. So I do have a PDF and a video explaining exactly how to do that my whole team sends out when they get deals. So 80% of the time, the seller is actually doing that for us. So we don't even need local boots on the ground. But for the 20% that are just completely technology challenged, I guess, for lack of a better word, if they're completely technology challenged, then that's when we will get somebody local to go do that for us. And how do you get that person? It's easy. You can either use wegolook.com or bpophotoflow.com, or the best way is just put it on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist saying who wants to make $50, just to take a couple of pictures. Then you're going to get a ton of response. Find somebody that you kind of bond with, that you can trust. Go have them get a lockbox from the hardware store or from Walmart or Lowe's or Home Depot, any of those places. And they can actually go meet the seller for you, and they're not real estate related. Now, that's where you want to do this different. You want this into you want to post that into a buy-sell trade type of a group, not the investor groups, because the investors could be sneaky and try to steal your deal for you. So you got to be careful on that. But when you're posting your deals, you want that in investor groups. But when you're looking for boots on the ground, do that in the buy sell trade groups. Okay. So, and that's easy. So if you can't get the seller to do it for you, what you'll want to do is just put it on Facebook in the buy sell trade groups. Exactly like I said. Hey, who wants to make $50 just to take a couple of pictures? You're going to get a ton of responses. Yes, I do. And then you can cash app them after they actually send you the pictures. And what you can do is set up a Dropbox link or a Google Drive link and share that folder with them so they can upload that directly into the folder from their phone. And that's exactly how we do that with sellers as well. So that's what that looks like. So as far as what the team looks like, your team is your team, whether you're virtual or local, whether you're locking deals up over the phone or in person, whether your team is nationwide or all in one office, it's all the same, okay? You've got acquisition managers, transaction coordinators, disposition managers, and then what I do is all the marketing and kind of oversee the operation, okay? So that's really all there is to it. It's pretty simple as far as that goes. Now, what I pay them, in my business, we pay 100% commission. So everybody eats when deals are closed, okay? And also on that topic, you eat what you kill. So, acquisition manager that might get 4 deals in a month compared to the other one that might get 10, obviously the one that got 10 is going to make more money. Now, the transaction coordinator handles all of those in this scenario, all 14 of those contracts, and I pay her on a per contract basis, between $250 and $350, depending on the situation. Now, my disposition manager is the same as acquisitions. She gets paid on what she sells. Now, she's selling for 2 different acquisition managers, so her percentage is lower than acquisitions because she has double opportunity to make money because she's selling deals from 2 different acquisition managers, if that makes sense. So anyways, that's how that works. Nobody gets a salary or a base of any kind. Sometimes I will do like a draw pay when someone starts out. I might give them like 6 weeks of a small base to where they can actually make a little bit of money until they start getting deals. Because in my organization, our SOPs are so good, and we hire good talent to where if you don't get a deal in your first week or 2, then you're not going to work out anyways, and we'll just go ahead and let them go, so we don't have to pay that whole 6 weeks of a draw. Now I call it a draw because that's not free money. They're paying that back from their first closings. So that's how that works. I did the same thing for my dispo manager, and we only do that when needed. Oftentimes, they don't really need the money because it's, a female that their husband works and that kind of thing, or they have money saved up from severance from their last job or what have you. So anyways, that's really how that works, y'all. That's virtual wholesaling in general. It's really easier to scale because you're not meeting people face to face. Also, I would say that having a local office with your whole team there is definitely easier because you can build that camaraderie and that whole culture in your office. But, I chose to do virtual really out of necessity because when I first started, I lived in 2 different states equally. So I was always on a plane every week coming or going. So I had to be virtual as far as my team goes from the get-go. And that's just how I've built my business from now. So we continue to stay virtual because it works. But yeah, so that's really how that works. Virtual wholesaling, when most people talk about it, it's just talking about locking deals up over the phone as opposed to in person. But I'm virtual in every sense of the word, to where our entire office is not an office, it's a virtual. We're all in our own offices, and we have, Zoom meetings, and obviously communicate on text and that kind of thing as well. So anyways, hopefully that was beneficial. I hope I gave you what you wanted, the explanation of how that actually works. But that's virtual wholesaling in a nutshell as far as how it works in my business. So anyways, if you found value in that, please give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. It seems that most people watching these videos don't ever subscribe. It's completely free, so just click the button and help me out. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.